Hi guys, it's Ksenia. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the brand new fragrances by Jackie Aina that just launched. Her brand is called FORVR Mood and she just launched 4 new fragrances. I've been getting so many comments on here on YouTube and over on Instagram ever since they launched for me to try them out. And luckily, I was actually at a Sephora a few days back and I saw them all there. I saw all the testers. They actually didn't have anything in stock, which is incredible, might I add. The fact that all these perfumes sold out so fast, literally the day or second day that they came out, everything was sold out. That's incredible. Huge congratulations to Jackie. We're gonna talk a little bit also about the controversy that's been kind of surrounding these perfumes. So I'm gonna get to that right before I actually talk about the perfumes. But out of all 4, I actually ended up buying just one of the perfumes, which I mentioned in my new perfume releases video. And I asked you guys which one you thought I bought. And I told you it was probably not one that you would have expected me to buy. And now you can clearly see by the title, I did purchase the You Remind Me, and there was actually one of you that guessed correctly. And of course, I'm gonna go very much in depth on this perfume, why I bought it and what I love so much about it. But I'm also gonna talk a little bit about the rest of the other 3 perfumes because I did smell them in store. I had the testers, I sprayed them on my skin, I sprayed them on paper. I made some notes on my phone so that I was able to kind of talk about them in this video a little bit and tell you why I didn't pick up those. But honestly, I only had a short time with those perfumes, so I don't want to write them off. I feel like if they come back in stock in Sephora and I go back to a store, I may pick up another one. Who knows? I'm not writing them off because I'll tell you this right now, I thought all of them smelled great. They were all very different, and because I was kind of overwhelmed in the store, even if I wanted to pick all of them up, I couldn't because they were out of stock. But even if they were in stock, I feel like I still would have been a little confused in the store because it was just a lot going on. So everything I'm going to tell you about the other 3 perfumes in this video is purely based off of first impressions. Feel free to change my mind in the comments if you think I should go back and try out some of the other ones. And one more thing, as I said, these are on the FORVR Mood website as well as Sephora, but right now, as of the time I'm filming this video, which is Sunday, April 21st, they are all sold out online on Sephora as well as in at least all the stores around me. You might want to check if you have any Sephoras near you that may or may not have them in stock, but for the most part, they are out of stock. But if you go on the FORVR Mood website, there's actually 3 that are still available to purchase in full size right now. Again, as of the time I'm filming this video, are NDA, You Remind Me, and also Hard to Get. She does have mini sizes of all the perfumes, so you can get those. Those are available to purchase if you want to just kind of try which ones you like. But as of right now, the only one that is out of stock in full size is I Am Her, which is the pink one. And now that makes me kind of curious about that one. Let me know if you got that one. Okay, with all that being said, let's get straight into this video. Please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel and turn post notifications on, and let's get started. First, let's get into a little bit of the controversy surrounding these perfumes. I've been hearing a lot of not so great, amazing thoughts on the packaging for these perfumes, which this is what the packaging looks like. It looks like a little crystal. It's honestly really cute, but I will admit, and I also said this in my last video that I did, which was my new perfume release video, that it's personally not my favorite packaging. We are all entitled to have our own opinions. We all like different things. We all have different preferences. And when any company comes out with anything, no matter how amazing it is, there's always going to be somebody that is not impressed with it. It's just impossible to please everyone. That's just not a thing. But what I will say is, you try to build yourself up from the ground, create an entire business, create 4 perfumes that are sold at Sephora with a very decent price, might I add. These perfumes retail for $79 for the full size, which is 1.7 ounce. And for her to give us 4 perfumes that are under $100, under 80 bucks even, is actually incredible, because I promise you, if she came out with one perfume that was super bougie packaging, really luxurious, but it was priced at like $150, people would then bash the price. So it's always gonna be something. And the fact that she created 4 perfumes that literally sold out within the first 2 days of her putting them out is absolutely incredible. I think a lot of people kind of underestimate what it is to have your own business and how expensive packaging is. And honestly, the fact that all these perfumes smell so good at the price point that they are, I don't even care what packaging. They could have come in a water bottle packaging and I would have still been impressed, because it's just impressive alone for her to have started from nothing, built herself up, has this brand now, created these 4 perfumes that sold out in 2 seconds. I think we got to give more credit to that, because if any one of us were in that same position, I think, again, we just underestimate how hard it is and how costly it is to come out with any product, let alone 4 perfumes. So that is all I got to say about all the controversy surrounding it. I think people are always going to have something to say about literally anything, especially nowadays. People are very opinionated, which is fine, but at least just don't be hateful. Don't show negativity for absolutely no reason when you have nothing to show for it. Okay, with all that said, let's get into this perfume. So after trying out all 4 perfumes, I ended up picking up the You Remind Me perfume. Now, I wasn't even going to pick this one up. Once I left the store, I actually had no intention of buying any of them for that specific moment, because like I said, I was kind of overwhelmed in the store. And what made me change my mind is after about 2 to 3 hours, we had come home and I kept getting this whiff of this amazing scent that was just so good. Mind you, I had all the 4 perfumes on me at like different spots on my arms, but this one scent kept kind of wafting to my nose and I couldn't stop sniffing it. The dry down of this perfume is ultimately what made me buy this one. In my opinion, the magic for all 4 of these perfumes really lies in the dry down. The more they settle on the skin, and I'm talking not just like 10 minutes after you spray, I'm talking about 2 to 3 hours after it's fully settled on your skin, that is when these perfumes really shine for me, because all 4 perfumes were doing it for me. But this one specifically, I loved so much that same day after I had come home from that Sephora trip, I went online and purchased this. I got mine off of the FORVR Mood website, which might I add, I had a really great experience with. I ordered it, got shipped to me the next day, and literally 3 days after that, it was at my house. So it came to me super fast, especially considering how hot these perfumes are. And I'm sure they are shipping a ton of stuff right now, so I'm sure they're very busy. So the fact I got this super fast was also major bonus points. So the scent type for this one is fresh florals, which is why I told you in my new perfume release video that the one perfume that I did buy was probably not what you guys were expecting, because I know there's more sweeter ones in this range that you would have probably expected me to get, and this was actually the one that was least sweet, or it's not even sweet. This perfume is not sweet at all, whereas all 3 of the other ones were sweet. So it's just ironic that I ended up going for this one, even though I am typically a sweet perfume lover. Like I said, what this was doing to my skin 2-3 hours after having it on, I couldn't not get it. This has keynotes of apricot skin, orange blossom, and sensual musks. Emphasis on that sensual musks, because this is for sure a sexy, clean fragrance. It's definitely a fresh floral, but oh man, this is so good. Even when it starts out, is really good. It starts a little bit more uplifting, maybe a little zesty. It smells a little citrusy in the top notes. I mean, we have that apricot skin, so it kind of does give it, I don't want to say sweet, but there's this little zing to it. Mixed with that orange blossom, and then when it fully settles, it turns into this sensual musk on your skin. It's like this clean skin musk, but it's equally very sexy, and it's definitely a complex freshie for sure. That's one thing when it comes to fresh perfumes. You know, I don't love any generic fresh perfume that just smells like laundry. It just defeats the purpose for a perfume for me. A freshie definitely needs to have character, and this definitely has some personality to it, which is why I love it. And ultimately, the dry down, as I've mentioned a million times, is what sold me and what completely won me over with this perfume. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. It is so good. I highly recommend this one. Even if you're not a fresh lover, try it out. I personally think you can't go wrong. It smells so good. But with that said, let's now get into the other 3 perfumes in this line, and I'll tell you a little bit about the notes that I made on my phone as I was smelling them in the store. Let's start with NDA. This was probably one that I was most excited about before I smelled them, because, well, first of all, when I first saw it, I thought it was gonna be berry, because every time I see the color purple, my brain just goes automatically to berries, and it's not that at all. This is not a berry perfume in the slightest, but it is a very complex and honestly super expensive smelling perfume. One thing with all these perfumes, even though, yes, the packaging may not scream, you know, super sexy and all these things, what's inside of these perfumes is not juvenile at all. They're all really complex and they all smell really, really expensive. And this one specifically, I think smells the most complex out of all. This is categorized as a spicy gourmand. It has keynote of spiced rum, tonka bean, and tobacco flower. The tobacco flower definitely pulled through on my skin in this one. It gave this perfume a little bit of an edge. It didn't smell smoky, not entirely anyway, but it definitely had a little hint of almost like incense in a way smelling, which mixed really well with that tonka bean. This was very, very sweet, well-rounded. It has sort of a creamy vibe to it, and I wouldn't necessarily call it gourmand because every time in my head I think of gourmand, I think of like cakey and very like foodie. That's not what this was, but it was very sweet and creamy and well-rounded while still being complex and perfumey and sexy. This just isn't like my daily type of perfume taste necessarily, so that's why I still don't think I would pick this up as of right now. But again, feel free to change my mind in the comments for any one of these. I'm just telling you my first like initial thoughts on these perfumes. Moving on to I Am Her. This one was really, really good, and this is actually the one that's sold out on her website as well, so it leads me to believe this is a fan favorite out of the 4. But when I smelled it, the only thing that kind of held me back on buying this one was just the sheer fact that for some reason a little bit of this kind of reminded me of the DNA of Black Opium a little bit. Nowhere near to being dupes, okay? I'm just kind of mentioning what I thought firsthand when I smelled it after it started drying down. It was kind of giving me like Black Opium vibes, which is really sexy and really good. And honestly, the more this dried down, there was definitely things to set those two apart. Like I said, they weren't dupes at all. This is categorized as a warm and sweet gourmand, and this has keynotes of red velvet, pear, and oud. So you know it's gonna be really expensive smelling. For this perfume having oud, the oud was not intense in here. So if you're somebody that is kind of weary of oud, which I'm sure a lot of people are, because oud is very specific and you either love it or you hate it. In this one, it was very, very mild, but I think ultimately it's that oud that really took this perfume from your generic designer sweet floral kind of scent to something that smells a lot more high end, and I think that definitely differentiates it from Black Opium also. And it was a little like fruity in a very sexy, sensual way. This was definitely my second favorite, and if they do come back around, if I had to pick one more up, I think this would be it. And then the last perfume, this one I'm sorry to say I do not like, but it's just because I don't like this entire category of perfumes. This could be something that a lot of you may love. Personally, I'm not into lemon when it's mixed with sweet gourmand type of notes. I'm just not a fan, and that's exactly what I got when I sprayed this one out, as well as 2 to 3 hours in the dry down. It was almost like it was something kind of bothering me about this one. But again, no hate to the fragrance. I know this is a huge favorite, and even in my comments people were telling me, girl, I know you don't like sweet lemony scents, but try this out, it's so good. And I'm just like, I did try it and I just initially didn't love it, but again, I may have to try it out again, and that is hard to get. This is categorized as a citrus scent, and in here we have keynotes of citrus zest, sheer jasmine, and whipped vanilla. The notes sound really great in it, but to me, this was kind of reminiscent of Devotion by Dolce & Gabbana, which was not a favorite of mine at all. I was very excited about that perfume, but honestly, that perfume made me realize that I don't like gourmandy, lemony type of scents. I just don't think citrus and gourmand mixes that great. That's just my opinion. And again, I don't feel confident enough to rule this out 100% because it was just a very quick initial first impression. So I would definitely consider smelling this again. But I just remember how it wore, and I remember that it was kind of just putting me off. And that just has to do with my taste. Okay, I just don't like sweet gourmandy lemony scents. If you're into that though, you'll probably love this. And that concludes all 4 fragrances from FORVR Mood. I know I just told you why I didn't get the other 3, but honestly, feel free to change my mind in the comments, because if these do come back around and they do get restocked, I'm definitely open to re-smelling them and maybe picking up another one. I'm definitely thinking about the I Am Her one. It was my second favorite, and if it comes back around, I might have to get it. Let me know if you picked up any of these perfumes in the comments down below. That is it for me today. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.